So we were talking about stage 4 of Erikson's theory. So again, if that child receives praise for their work, they feel like they are being successful, they're going to have confidence in their abilities, they're going to have industry. If they've received too much criticism or receive too much failure or experience too much failure, it could lead to long-term feelings of inferiority. Stage 5, those of us who are secondary, we're going to be dealing with a lot of this in stage 5, identity versus role confusion. This is going to occur during Piaget's formal operational stage. Who am I and where am I going? I'm sure we all have experienced this. And again, these stages are not, don't feel that you have to be, they all fall within a certain age. I remember experiencing this stage whenever I was in college. Who am I? Where am I going? What am I supposed to do with my life? Okay? So this is where an adolescent integrates the healthy resolution of all other conflicts. Did they develop that basic sense of trust? Do they have a strong sense of independence, competence, and feel in control of their lives? Have they successfully dealt with earlier conflicts, and are they ready for that identity crisis? I remember being stuck in this particular stage for a while, graduating from high school, starting college. I remember it was during my first year of college. I could not figure out what I wanted to do. I was an honor student in high school, salutatorian, graduated salutatorian, thought I knew what I wanted to do, got to college, and that's whenever I I moved out of my house, hanging around with the wrong crowd. I stayed in college for a year, could not figure out what I wanted to do, ended up dropping out of college, lost my 4-year scholarship. Still cannot believe that I did this to this day. Worked full-time for a year, worked at Walmart. Don't get me wrong, there is nothing wrong with Walmart, but working at Walmart full-time for an entire year made me realize this is not what I want to do for the rest of my life. So I had to figure out, okay, where am I going? What am I going to do with my life? And when I think about, did I honestly receive a healthy resolution of all those other conflicts? Again, I'm not blaming anyone here by any means, but it just makes me reflect, did those previous experiences that I had when I was younger in my environment, don't get me wrong, my parents did it because they absolutely loved me, and that's how their parents were raised, so they were going to raise me the exact same way. Was there kind of like a domino effect? Did it just kind of get rolled over into every stage after that until I hit this stage here? So, how can we as teachers, how can we be that role model for students? How can we help them go through this stage? How can we help them figure out who their identity is? So according to Erikson believes this is the single most significant conflict a person must face. Okay. Think about all of the different resources that are available to you as a teacher. Don't think that you have to figure this out on your own. Don't get me wrong, as a teacher, we wear lots of different hats. Not only are we their teacher, we are their counselor, we are their mentor, we are their role model. Sometimes we feel like we're their parents even. But how can we think about all of the resources in your community? Maybe there's a local university nearby. Maybe there are community leaders that you can pull in. How can we help these kids figure out who they are? So if a child fails at this stage, they're going to feel confused on who they are, who they're supposed to be. If they succeed in this stage, they're going to feel confident in their own personality. They're going to love who they are and what they'll be in the future. It took me a year of dropping out of college, losing my scholarship, then going back to school, realizing that, you know what, I actually want to be a teacher. the last time I wanted to be a teacher, I was a kid playing with my chalkboard, teaching to my dolls. And that was a long time ago. And it wasn't until dropping out of college and realizing that, you know what, that's actually what I want to do. And so pursued that route, got my bachelor's degree in education, earned my master's degree in gifted education, and loved it so much to the point where I then earned my PhD in educational psychology, and now I'm teaching in higher ed. And so I I could honestly say that I did overcome this stage. Just takes some people longer than others. So how can we as teachers help our students find the way? Stage 6, intimacy versus isolation. The main question here, shall I share my life with another, or should I live alone? And so so according to Erikson, he believes that no matter how successful you are in your work, he said he believes that you're not developmentally complete until you are capable of intimacy. So a person who is, according to Erikson, he believes that a person who is secure in their identity can have an intimate partnership and compromise for another. A person who is not secure in their identity, they will feel isolated and unable to depend on anyone in the world. And it might be in a long-term relationship, but avoids true closeness. I can definitely see that some people may agree with this stage, some people may not. I think there's definitely a culture shift now. A long time ago, this is, our culture really emphasized this, that, once you get to a certain age, it is time to get married, that you spend your life with someone else. Our culture does not emphasize that as much anymore. And so I just kind of wonder, as you're listening to this, if you agree or disagree with this stage. Stage 7, generativity versus stagnation. So Erikson believes that this occurs during middle adulthood, between ages of 40 to 60. So the main question here, will I make my life better for the next generation? So according to Erikson, he believes that this is an adult's ability to look outside of oneself and care for others through parenting, for instance. And so adults need children as much as children need adults, and this stage reflects the need to create a living legend. So, positive outcome for this stage. People can feeling centrally the life role experience suddenly what I want to do. Erikson is question I want to teach and case study of particular lecture